For me personally, my body matters. How I exist in this body, feel in this body, is really important.
Laverne Cox, now 52, shared why she once hated her life. After years of speaking out for transgender rights, she opened up about the pain she's kept hidden.
Great work, lawmakers. Thanks for making sure schools don't teach about sexual orientation or gender identity, because pretending trans kids don't exist means they disappear, just like pretending climate change doesn't exist means it disappears too.
Even with her role in Orange is the New Black and her powerful voice, she talked about how hard it was to live in a world that didn't accept her. But what really pushed her to such a dark place? Let us dive into the real reason why Laverne felt so trapped, even with all her success. Laverne Cox's rise and her fight for justice. She is an incredibly influential figure in the fight for transgender rights. Before her rise to fame in Orange is the New Black, she was already working hard as an advocate. In 2014, she became the first openly transgender person to be nominated for a Primetime Emmy in an acting category, bringing even more attention to her activism. Coming from a humble background and being a woman of color, her journey highlights the difficulties faced by those who belong to more than one marginalized group. She uses her platform to raise awareness about serious issues like violence and job discrimination against transgender people. What hidden pain has she been carrying all this time? Stay tuned to uncover the truth she's kept inside. Prejudice, homelessness, and lack of access to proper health care have a deep impact on the transgender community, especially Black transgender women. She has consistently used her public platform, not just in entertainment, but also to push for important policy changes. She's been a strong voice for reforms in prisons, the rights of workers, and creating safe, supportive spaces for LGBTQ+ youth. Her powerful presence and clear speeches have helped bring attention to stories that often go unnoticed, leading to real social change. From a young age, she knew she didn't fit into the typical gender roles that society expected. Growing up in Mobile, Alabama, she experienced constant bullying and name-calling, which made her feel even more alone. By the time she was in 3rd grade, other kids were calling her a sissy, a hurtful term used to shame boys who didn't act masculine. This bullying wasn't just about how others treated her. It made her develop a deep sense of self-hatred that took years to overcome. As a Black transgender woman, she has often talked about how both her race and gender have made her a target of discrimination. She explains that the trauma she's experienced doesn't come from just one part of her identity, but from both being Black and being transgender. Living in a world where people treat her unfairly for both has been a heavy burden. While her role in Orange is the New Black gave her fame and a platform, it also brought new challenges. Being in the public eye meant she faced more judgment and was exposed to more danger. She has shared how hard it is to constantly deal with the emotional stress of representing a marginalized group, while also knowing that transphobia is still very real and harmful. Her encounters with violence have left deep emotional wounds, but they've also fueled her drive to fight for change. She has often talked about something called survivor's guilt. As one of the few well-known Black transgender women in Hollywood, she sometimes feels guilty about her success and safety, knowing that many other Black trans women still face terrible violence, discrimination, and even death. It's heartbreaking that the life expectancy for Black transgender women is so low, with many not living past their 40s. This guilt weighs on her, especially when she thinks about the big difference between her own achievements and the struggles of her community. But instead of letting this guilt take over, she uses it as fuel for her activism. She speaks out, using her fame to bring attention to the voices of those who are still being hurt or overlooked. She fights for changes to the system, hoping to reduce the violence and injustice that so many trans women of color face, both in society and within the criminal justice system. Even though her rise in Hollywood has been groundbreaking, she doesn't see it as her ultimate achievement. For her, it's about much more than fame. She's deeply committed to fighting for social justice and knows that her personal story is tied to the larger issues that many marginalized groups face. She continues to work for more representation and acceptance, not just in movies and TV, but in society as a whole. Her life shows just how resilient the human spirit can be. Her story highlights how important mental health is and the strength that comes from living your truth. She doesn't just inspire the transgender community. Her journey speaks to anyone who's ever felt left out, different, or unloved. Through her work and her words, she reminds everyone that real happiness comes from accepting who you are, no matter what society might think. But that's not the end of the story. While her success and activism are inspiring, her message goes beyond herself. She's always reminding us that the fight for equality isn't over yet, and there's still so much work to be done. Laverne's story is one of many. How do other famous people sharing their truth change things? Celebrity stories that redefine gender. Lately, many famous people have come forward to share their journeys of gender transition. By being open about who they are, these celebrities have not only helped themselves, but also inspired many in the transgender and non-binary communities. This has given much-needed visibility and support to others going through similar experiences. Their stories show us the strength, courage, and determination it takes to stay true to oneself. Especially when people encounter difficulties from society, it can be a tough experience. For those in the LGBTQ+ community, or for their supporters, stories of courage and embracing one's true identity provide valuable lessons for everyone. Some well-known individuals are working to create a more welcoming and accepting world. By standing up for more representation and inclusion, they are showing that every person should have the right to live as their authentic self, without fear of judgment or rejection. Their actions are helping to guide society toward greater understanding and acceptance for all. Caitlyn Jenner came out as a transgender woman during a highly watched interview with Diane Sawyer. This was a big moment in pop culture. Jenner, who was once known as Bruce and had been an Olympic champion, opened up about her long struggle with gender dysphoria, a feeling she kept inside for many years. Her honesty about the pain of hiding her true self for so long touched the hearts of many people around the world. But it wasn't all positive. Jenner also faced a lot of criticism and intense media attention. Still, she used her platform to advocate for the rights of transgender individuals, fighting against discrimination in housing, jobs, and healthcare. By sharing her story in such a public way, Jenner helped educate millions and started important conversations about transgender issues. Similarly, when Elliot Page came out as a transgender man in 2020, the Oscar-nominated actor used his fame to promote deeper conversations and better understanding about the many experiences within the transgender community. Page openly shared his own journey of understanding and accepting his identity, offering encouragement to other trans-masculine and non-binary people who are also on their paths of self-discovery. But that wasn't all. Page put a special focus on issues that affect transgender youth, pushing for more support within families and calling attention to harmful policies and the lack of help they often face. He stressed how urgent it is to tackle the violence and systemic challenges that Black and Latinx transgender people deal with. For Page, embracing his identity wasn't just a personal victory, it was a show of solidarity with the larger community. Through his interviews and his roles in popular movies and TV shows, Page has inspired audiences around the world by showing how powerful it is to live your truth and not hide parts of yourself. His presence has challenged outdated stereotypes and helped correct misunderstandings, shedding light on the dignity of transgender individuals. And Jazz Jennings, a transgender woman, has also shown how important acceptance, education, and affirmation are from a young age, highlighting how crucial these are in shaping the lives and well-being of transgender people. But the challenges don't end there. From a very young age, Jazz Jennings knew she was a transgender girl. At just 5 years old, she bravely shared this with her supportive parents. For almost 20 years, her life has been filled with both difficult and triumphant moments, and she's been open about them all. In 2015, Jennings became the star of the TLC reality show I Am Jazz, where she courageously let viewers see her personal battles with bullying, discrimination, and medical challenges. Even with all these struggles, Jennings remained determined to live as her true self. Her strength and courage have inspired many people. She went on to become a well-known author and advocate for LGBTQ+ youth, traveling the world to support other transgender kids facing their own challenges. Jennings has always stressed how important it is for families and schools to have the right tools and knowledge to create spaces where children can grow up happy and true to themselves. Through dedication and perseverance, Jazz Jennings has had a profound influence on the lives of many transgender young people. Her efforts have played a significant role in creating a future that is more welcoming and understanding. where acceptance and support are growing. Jennings' contributions to changing minds and hearts have been impactful, but she was not the only one working toward this goal. Lana and Lily Wachowski, both transgender women and the creators of the famous Matrix movies, also made a lasting mark on both the film industry and society as a whole. Their groundbreaking work challenged traditional views of gender, encouraging people to rethink long-held beliefs and opening the door to fresh perspectives on identity and self-expression. When Lana transitioned in 2012 and Lily came out as non-binary in 2016, these were important moments for transgender visibility in Hollywood. These events were not just significant for their own lives, but also for what they meant in the broader sense of how gender is viewed in the entertainment industry. Their bravery in being open about their identities, combined with their unique and innovative films, helped change the way people in the creative world understand gender. However, their influence did not end with their personal journeys. The films they directed, such as Cloud Atlas and The Matrix Resurrections, went beyond just telling stories. These movies presented complex characters and explored deep themes, encouraging audiences to think differently about identity, existence, and what it means to be human. Their work has challenged traditional ideas and pushed people to question what they think they know, both about themselves and the world around them. Chaz Bono, the child of well-known singers Sonny and Cher, experienced his gender transition while being in the public spotlight. Due to his famous background, he encountered significant pressure and constant judgment from the media and the public. However, despite these challenges, his journey became an example of the courage required to live truthfully as oneself, particularly in a world that can be slow to embrace change. His experience highlighted the strength needed to be authentic, even when faced with resistance and misunderstanding. In 2008, Bono began openly sharing his journey as a transgender man. He wanted to be true to himself. His documentary, Becoming Chaz, along with several interviews, talked about the emotional and physical changes he went through, including hormone therapy and surgery. By being so open, Chaz helped others better understand what it means to be transgender, building empathy and compassion. He also uses his platform to support LGBTQ+ rights, working to make society more accepting and to push for legal protections. Famous stories help, but some voices face even tougher battles. How do they keep pushing forward? Voices of strength for transgender women of color. In 2012, Laura Jane Grace, the lead singer of the band Against Me, made a big impact on the punk rock scene when she shared that she was a transgender woman. She talked openly about her journey and the challenges of gender dysphoria, which is the feeling of being at odds with the gender you were assigned at birth. Her memoir, Tranny, and her music both focus on her path to self-acceptance, dealing with discrimination, and finding happiness by living truthfully. Beyond her music, she has inspired many in the LGBTQ+ community, helping to create a more accepting space in the music world. But that wasn't the hardest part for many. Laura's journey also showed how hard it can be to navigate a world that is not always ready to accept who you are, especially in industries that can be tough on change. India Moore, best known for their role in Pose, draws attention to the unique struggles that transgender women of color face. They speak out about issues like violence, homelessness, and the difficulties in getting healthcare and jobs, especially for Black and Latina transgender women. Moore's activism pushes for more representation in the media and works to address social problems, encouraging a society that embraces and celebrates transgender individuals. Ian Harvey, a trailblazing transgender male comedian, uses comedy to tackle serious subjects like gender identity, transitioning, and the everyday life of transgender people. His stand-up routines are not just funny, they also offer insights into issues that people don't always talk about. Harvey has paved the way for more LGBTQ+ comedians, showing that being true to yourself and being relatable can go hand in hand on stage. Through comedy, he helps break down stereotypes and encourages understanding. Comedy has long been a place to challenge the status quo, and Ian Harvey's success shows how humor can also bring about change. In 2019, Zaya Wade, the daughter of retired NBA star Dwyane Wade, shared publicly that she is transgender. This was a key moment in her life and also in the larger conversation about transgender youth. For her 14th birthday in 2021, she had a roller skating party surrounded by love and support, especially from her dad, who calls her the strong one and a hero. Zaya's story shows just how important family support is for transgender youth, offering hope and encouragement to families everywhere. In July 2021, Lena Bloom achieved a historic milestone when she became the first transgender woman to appear on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. This moment was not just about her personal success, but carried a much larger significance in the ongoing journey for transgender recognition and equality. Her words expressing that this moment had been long awaited were a reminder of the long struggle the transgender community has faced in order to be recognized and valued as complete individuals, worthy of respect and admiration. Her achievement was more than a simple magazine cover. It represented a step forward in the slow but steady progress toward a society that is more open and welcoming to people of all identities. By being featured in such a high-profile publication, Lena Bloom sent a powerful message that transgender individuals deserve to be seen and celebrated for who they are, reminding the world that inclusion is an ongoing process, one that takes courage and persistence to achieve. Her success stands as a beacon of hope, showing that change is possible and that visibility for the transgender community is growing, even in areas where they have long been underrepresented. But her journey wasn't just about making headlines. Lena's story also reminds us of the long fight for visibility, where each win is a victory for many who have long felt unseen. Catalina Enriquez also broke barriers in June 2021 when she won the title of Miss Nevada USA, becoming the first openly transgender contestant to compete in the Miss USA pageant. Her victory is seen as a big step forward in the push for inclusivity and acceptance in spaces that have traditionally been exclusive. This win was not just for her, but for the entire LGBTQ+ community, showing how important representation is in challenging stereotypes and helping to build a more welcoming society. Laverne Cox's journey is inspiring. Will true equality ever be possible without dismantling systemic discrimination? Let us know your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.